Yo, man, like when I look at Jim Harbaugh, every time I look at this dude, I end up going, whose man is this? Whose man is this? Because he's out here just saying stuff once again. And I need to start by saying this is one of the highest paid college football coaches in America without a national championship. Clemson gives Dabo Swinney $9,315,600 this year to coach football. He's got national championships. Alabama is going to make sure that Nick Saban gets paid $8,857,000 this year. The man stays in national championships and national championship games. Then we got Harbaugh. Jimbo Fisher at A&M making $7.5 million. At least he got a national championship at Florida State. Georgia pays Kirby Smart $6.7 million. And he's played and won national championships. And he's coaching Georgia for an opportunity to get there this year. Gus Malzahn has not only won national championship, his quarterback is quite literally the best college football player ever for me. Cam Newton is the offense everywhere he goes. Jeff Brom basically held Purdue hostage, and that's why he's getting $6.6 million. Tom Herman at least has a national championship ring, which is the one thing he gets to say that Lincoln Riley doesn't. And then there's Riley at number 9, and Dan Mullen has been Dan Mullen for some time. But this dude, Harbaugh, out here taking L's now, not just from Ohio State, not just from Alabama, but from epidemiologists. All right, so the reason I'm incensed by Jim Harbaugh once again is this quote that he gave to The Athletic, which is, COVID is part of our society. It wasn't caused by football or caused by sports. There's no expert view right now that I'm aware of or agreeing expert views that sports is going to make that worse. It's part of our society. We're going to have to deal with it, which is cockamamie, and it is wildly infuriating and inaccurate. Why? Because it's wrong-headed on its face. I didn't cause COVID. You didn't cause COVID. The epidemiologist didn't cause COVID. And then we have an epidemiologist, and Zachary Benny, who says, yo, look, I have to make sacrifices just like everyone else has to make sacrifices to stop the spread. We're all part of an interconnected community. Football is not immune. And then you got Harbaugh continuing to talk from this perch of making too much money to lose football games to Ohio State and play in the Citrus Bowl, saying stuff like, if students are already on campus, how much risk does football really add? Are you kidding? If they weren't doing football, what would they be doing? Would they be hanging out in the dorms? Would they be going to bars? What would be happening? Conditional on school already starting up, the additional risk of football would be any extra contact that they're having, particularly close contact on the football field, that they may not have elsewhere, mitigated by an extra testing or extra tests that are undergoing. Look, he goes on to say that he doesn't really think that there's anything to lose here, and he feels comfortable sending his daughters to school. Now, I hate having these sorts of conversations because it flies in the face of what public health officials have told us. Because, yes, I want football. I want college football. I love college football. But to say that football would not help spread this virus is stupid. And it only could come from a Rocco who's making millions of dollars to coach football. Because when you don't actually have money that is wildly invested into the athletic program around football, you can make better decisions about player safety. See the Ivy League. They don't put any money into football. They don't even grant scholarships for football. They play from September to Thanksgiving, and they call it good. They don't play for championships. They don't play in the playoff. That's not what they're about. You go to Princeton so that you can see Princeton on a diploma, and it wows your person that you're trying to impress to get a job. You go to Harvard so that Harvard gets to be across the diploma, and you get to walk around and pull it out and land it on the table. That's what you do. You go to Dartmouth for the same reasons. There are 8 Ivy League schools, and they have ridiculously large endowments. They don't depend on football. When you depend on football, you make decisions that make sure football continues to go on, even in the face of health concerns. Now, I understand there's a large majority of you who have not been affected by this virus. And yet, you have been indirectly affected by this virus because you're a sports fan. And we're talking about watching the MLS at 9 a.m. on a weekday and being happy about it. We're talking about watching Major League Baseball players whine and then go play baseball and be happy about it. We're talking about the bad food, which actually looks pretty good to me, that NBA players are being served, and we're happy about it. Why? Because we haven't had any of our sports. But pushing out this narrative of COVID is just part of our society, I categorically reject, in the same way that I categorically reject that racism is a part of our society. It's something we can root out. But it takes a collective effort, and it takes the people that get to sit in front of a microphone and or make millions of dollars being responsible for what they say. My goodness, man, all I've been doing is body bagging these fools all week because they keep talking stupidly. Deshaun Jackson put out a post that started with Hitler said and ended with Hitler was right, and we have to talk about it because he was being stupid. Steven Jackson doubled down on this. What are we doing? I'm losing it over here because we could be way ahead. But I got to deal with this dude that somebody can't come get they mans to tell to shut up and sit down. Coach football. Say, hey, I'm going to leave it up to my athletic director, my university president, and public health officials. I'll be happy if we get to play football. I hope we get to play football. Leave it there. There's absolutely no reason for any football coach to ever utter the words COVID-19 except to say we're testing for it. That's it. Say what you normally say about these things. When a kid gets pinched for doing something that he shouldn't, he gets arrested, what do? Y'all clam up and say something like, we're evaluating it. He violated a team policy. You get as vague and as tight as anybody in the room. But all of a sudden you got something to say about this? Nah, man. Go do that over there. Go do that at your house. Go recruit somebody that can beat Ohio State. Not a 5-star quarterback that went undrafted and is probably going to lose a job for a second time to Jordan Ta'amu at Kansas City. I'm really getting upset because we can't have a good, sound, intellectual discourse, even about the things we disagree about, because we start with stupidity. It's not as if the CDC does not have these on the website. We know what we should be doing, and yet we're rejecting it. If we don't get football, at this point, I believe it's our own fault. We had this nipped in the bud. And now we got Europeans, Australians, Asian folks all looking at us going, yo, we had this figured out. Y'all had it, y'all way ahead of us. China, they going shopping. Germany, they going shopping. They opened up the bars without incident in England. We were ahead, and all of a sudden we're way behind. Why? Because we're being petulant. Because we're being selfish, and we're saying things like COVID-19 is a part of our society. Nah, man. Nothing is a part of the society that the society decides to root out. We have lots of data to show for that. If we decide as a group that it no longer gets to be here, it stops. But we haven't done that. We point fingers at each other and we say, they're the problem. And round we go. All the while, athletic programs dry up. Scholarship opportunities for kids are going elsewhere. And our favorite sports are suffering. Get your man's Harbaugh, man. Get this fool. Get him off.